Hi everyone, this is Mohan Raghavan. In this video, we are going to see the IDE called PyCharm for Python. Generally, whenever you go for Python coding, in case of you are going to the project level, definitely you will be using any one of the IDE. Most of the times you will be using the PyCharm as the IDE for the Python. But however, when you use the any IDE, it is always recommendable that you are using all the shortcuts so that it is very efficient way to use the IDE so that you can complete the coding and you can improve the productivity. But most of the time we will use the PyCharm for the normal cases and we will use the normal task like a notepad or let's say textpad. So in this video, we are going to understand some of the shortcuts or productivity improvements that we can do with the PyCharm IDE. Whenever you open the IDE of let's say the Python PyCharm, so you will be seeing some of the options like project view and the different operations you can do over the let's say toolbar, and you can have the main menu, file edit view, and you can have let's say debug and console. A lot of things you may be having. So this will increase your let's say the complexity of the code by just focusing on the code, right? So we are going to see the different kinds of shortcuts. It's not only those shortcuts are available in the PyCharm, but these are the main shortcuts that you can use and you can improve your productivity. First, we will minimize all the things. Then we will see what are the points. We will go one by one. So this video actually inspired by 42 PyCharm tips by the PyCharm community itself. But however, we are just focusing on the few out of that. Let's say remove all options from view. So in case if you have every operations, let's say every menus, it will be little confusing and clumsy, right? So we will be just removing all the options first, so that you can focus only on the code. So for that, you will be going to the view appearance and you can just remove all the things one by one, or you can do at once. Even we are removing the main menu also. Now you will feel like it is just like a notepad plus plus or notepad, right? So you will have only the file name and you have the file here. So hereafter we are going to see, because when you remove everything, sometimes you will be getting confused how to do the different things in normal way in case of you are doing something. So let's say the first one we have completed, remove all options from the view. Now you can have only the code in front of you, and you can do the coding and you can test whatever you want. But we need to do the usual, let's say things, right? So for that, we are going to see the different operation. So first, foremost thing is seeing actions. So whenever you want to do some actions over the PyCharm, you need to have the actions menu so that you can get any shortcuts or any value there directly. So for that, the shortcut is ctrl+shift+A. So ctrl+shift+A, and you can see the different actions here. So whatever you want to get something, let's say I want to see the view, I want to enable the main menu, just type main and you can see the main menu, or you can view appearance main menu. This is the flow. Actually inside the view appearance, under the appearance, you have the main menu. You can shuffle that button, let's say on off, so you can get it. Again, if you press it, it will go out. So that any operations you want to do over the PyCharm, you can get from the actions. For example, let's say I want to, let's say duplicate the line. So just type duplicate and you will see the duplicate entire lines. Or let's say if you want to see the run, what is the run? So you can see run here. So run demo. So you can run from here itself. So it is just like a one place you can get everything here. So this way you can execute, or you can do the different actions over the actions. So that is the first one, seeing actions. So ctrl+shift+A. Then after we are going to see the project file structure. So if you see this file, it is the only file, but you may not be knowing where it is located, what is the folder structure, what is the project name. So those things you cannot see if you don't have the project view. So for that, we can use the shortcut Alt+1. So if you press Alt and 1, you can see the project structure. Now you can navigate through the different folder structure. If you don't want this one, just again press Alt1, it will go off. So this way you can focus on the code. Whenever you want the project explorer, you can see Alt+1. Then seeing recently used files using the shortcut ctrl+C. This will be very useful. For example, let's say you are not going to just shuffle between the different files which you have not used at all, right? So most probably you will be using 10 files at maximum in a single day. So for that, you will be just shuffling between these files. You don't need to go to the different folder structure. Just press the Control and E. You will be seeing the different, let's say, recently used files. Currently, I have not used any recent files. That's why you are seeing here. In other case, you will be seeing all the files here. You can just press down or up arrow, then you can navigate to that. And even you can type terminal here. So currently it is okay, project run. You can see the different recent locations. Here you can send different locations wherever I just shuffle here and there. So inside the demo one file only, I have moved here and all. So you can directly jump into that part especially. So the shortcut name is Ctrl and E. Okay, the next one is reformatting Ctrl Alt L. So what is reformatting? Let's say you may have the different places, let's say different, let's say new line characters, and you may have the, let's say by mistakenly have can sample spaces, or let's say something incorrect indentation. It may be anything, right? So this kind of thing, actually indentation, I'm having more indentation. So this is also not formatted properly, right? So this kind of things, it will show error here. Actually, it will show the warnings. Actually, here you can see reformat file. So rather than doing one by one, you can do the shortcut called Ctrl Alt L. So press Ctrl Alt L. In a single shot, it will be just a reformatted. Just I will do the Ctrl Z. You can see the different spaces and the multi-line character. Now I am pressing Ctrl Alt L. Now it will be formatted correctly. So this way you can format. And one more thing is inside the Ctrl Alt L, if you just combine the shift also, you can have further operations. Let's say Ctrl Alt and shift as well, then press L. You can see this also reformat, but again you can do the selected test, or you can do the optimize the imports code cleanup. This action also you can do it, but that is optional. So how to optimize the imports, that we will see in the coming steps. Now as of now, I will just cancel this. Now we have seen how to reformat, right? Next one is seeing implementation. So let's say I'm in some, let's say Fibonacci. I want to see the implementation details. So in that case, just press the cursor there and Control B, it will go to the definition. So this is the definition of the Fibonacci method, and you can see here. And inside that, again, I'm going to the print method. This is the predefined method. I am pressing the Control B here. It will go to the definition of the, even though you have not opened, it will open if it is available the library files. It will show how the print method works actually here, and you can see all the arguments and how it works. The document string, everything is available here. So this way you can go to the definition by pressing the Control B, and then after navigation bar Alt Home. So what happens is, let's say you have this file but you don't know where it is available. In one case you can press the Alt 1 and you can go to the, that's the project folder. But in some cases you want to see the navigation. So what is the total path you want to see? So in that case, I will press again Alt 1. Here you can press Alt Home. It will show the just a navigation bar somewhere. It is just like a hanging drop down, or let's say hanging menu option. So here you can just navigate between this. Let's say I have only one level. You can navigate between these two levels. But if you want to see the what are the files available inside the shortcuts demo, press the down arrow and you can see the different folders. Again, if you press, let's say you go to the VNV, enter again. Again, you can see the bin folder, different folders. Let's say in case if I want to go to the bin folder, it will be keep on increasing. Then I will go to the different files. I can just see this, what is file, and what are the things I want to do with that file. I can do it. Even I can open, I can rename. So different things you can do. If you want to come out of this, click somewhere in the screen, it will go just like that. So now we have seen how to go to the navigation bar for the files, right? And after that, the usual command for finding something, so Control F, so it will find something. For example, I want to see the return. So you can clearly see this is the shortcut for the finding something, and Control R will replace. So press Control R. Now you can see what are the things you have and what is the thing you want to replace with the return, or what are the string you are typing there. It can be replaced, replace R, and exclude also. So this way you can do the replacement or finding the particular string, right? And rename shift F6. So sometimes you want to rename this file. For example, I want to rename the demo01. So normally you will go to the folder structure, that is one way, but since we have seen another shortcut, so we'll go to the navigation bar, Alt Home, and let's now we want to do the shift F6. So shift F6. Now it will directly open the rename pop-up. You can rename, let's just like demo shortcuts. I want to rename this one. So what happens is when you rename, when you just search for references wherever you use this module, so those places also it will be refactoring. Just click on refactor, it will be updated as demo shortcuts. So by using the navigation bar also you can do at the same time Alt+1. So Project Explorer. Here also you can go it and let's say right click and you can just see the refactor and Shift F6, or you can just press it here and press Shift F6. It will directly open the rename option. So now we have seen the rename, and next one, go to line ctrl+G. So this will be very useful if you have a multi-line, let's say the huge file Python module when you have, you want to go to the different lines, you can just note it down somewhere, or you want to go to the specific line number, you don't need to just scroll up and scroll down. If you know the number directly, let's say I'm in the very top, I don't want to scroll down at the 300 line. So what I will do is like I will just ctrl+G, I will give the line. For example, I want to go to the 54th line. I'm in the top. So press Ctrl and G and let's press 53 in case, and you can directly go to the 53 line. It's not only the line number, you can go to the specific column also. For example, let's say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say I want to go to the 53rd line and 5th column. So let's go back to the top and Ctrl G, and let's say I'm putting 53 colon 5th index. It will directly go to the 5th index as well. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th index it is there. So this way even you can go to the very specific location as well. It is just like a matrix. So you are going to the row number and you are giving the column number as well. And then after start new line after the current line. So it will be very useful in case if you have in the very long line and let's say you want to create a next line. If you just make simply like that, it will just interrupt that one. So in that case, you will press the, let's say, right hand arrow, or you will press the end and you will do the things, but you don't need to do anything. Just wherever you are, just make the shift enter, it will go to the next line. Let's say if you are in, let's say I am in this line. So this is in the under the definition, right? Now if I press shift enter, it will go to the definition under that. It does not go to the next, let's say else block. It will go to the definition under that. So the IDE will take care of where it has to go. So you just press the shift enter. So no matter where you are, it will go to the next line. Sometime what happens is I want to create one line before this. So in that time you can use another shortcut, which is nothing but start new line before the current line, alt control enter. So here you can go here. Let's say I want to create one line before that, alt control enter. It will create one more line before that, no matter where you are in the previous line. You can be in the any middle of that thing. So just control alt enter, it will go to the first line considering the last line. So this way you can make the lines before and after. Even though if you forgot this shortcut, just press, we have seen the shortcut, right, for the seeing the action. So Control Shift A, you can see now I want to create the line, right? So start new line. Here you can see directly new line. So new line before and after, you can see shift enter, control alt enter. Even if you forgot or if you have the any latest version or the older version, you can use these actions to get the shortcuts. Even you don't need to type the shortcuts. Let's say if you press this one and let's say I am in middle of, let's say I am in this line, right? So control shift A and I want to start new line, shift enter. I will click on this. It will take care of the shortcut as well. So this way you can just make the lines before and after. This will be productive when you combine with other shortcuts as well. And duplicate line. So it is very similar to your, let's say Notepad++, but in case of IDE, this shortcut also can be used. For example, I want to repeat this line, keep the cursor there and control D. And again control D, control D, control D, you can return multiple times. So this way you can duplicate the lines. And after that, we have seen this is vertically, right? So you can duplicate the lines horizontally as well. For example, if I want to duplicate this line, I will press the control D, it will make vertically duplicates, right? Let's say I want to make horizontally. So that time I will select this line. So instead of just placing the cursor, you need to select the line and press control D, it will be keep on repeating in horizontal fashion. So this way, if you want to repeat any content horizontally, you can do the selecting the content and press the control D. So we have seen selecting duplicate. Okay, fine. Now extend selection. So what happens is sometimes you want to select a particular word or words, or let us say the method definition, or you want to select the entire line, or you want to select the entire block of that method, or let's say the class. So generally what we will do is like we will select like this, double click, and we will just drag it, or let's say we will go to the start and we will press shift and end. So there are a lot of things are there, right? Here you can do a simple shortcut. It is control W. So the control W, what it will do is let's place cursor somewhere here. Okay. Now I press control W. First time it will select only that word, and next time it will select that with the parenthesis. And next, if I select, it will select the nearby neighbor also. And if I press again one more time control W, actually it will select the entire line. If I press one more control W, it will select the entire line. And if I press the control W again, it will select the nearest block. If I press one more time, it will select all the blocks. If I press one more control W, it will select the entire method. If I press one more W, it will select the entire block of or the entire module itself. So this way you can select easily rather than selecting mouse using the mouse. You can just use the keyboard control W, control W. So whichever the structure you want, you can select from there. So let's say after selecting this one, so what you will be doing? So sometime you will be cut pasting to some wells, right? So that also you can do by using the control shift up and down arrow. For example, this line, let's say I want to move this line somewhere down. So what I will do is like now I will select this line. So rather than selecting with the mouse, I will just place the cursor. Now I am pressing the control W, control W, control W, and control W. Now it is selected. Now press control shift and down arrow and control press up arrow. So this way it will create, when you move something, it is the only statement available, the method called caller. So that's why automatically IDE will take care of creating the pass, because a method cannot have empty line. So we need to have pass. Since you are moving that line print statement, that's the reason it is creating the pass statement automatically by itself, and then it is moving the print statement. Let's make control Z. Okay. Now let's say I am taking this line, control W. Now control shift down arrow. So you can clearly see how it moves. So this way you can move the entire block of code, even it is not for a single line. Let's say I'm pressing here and control W, control W, control W. And again one more time control W, control W. The entire block has been selected. Now I am pressing the control shift down arrow. Here you can see the entire block moves somewhere. Right? Actually I selected something else, so I just moving here. Okay. Control W, control W, control W. Now I will move it back again. I think I have selected something else, sorry. Okay, control W. Okay, it's considering the previous line as well. I will do the control Z. It has taken this line, so I will make only this line, control W. I will move only this line. I will paste it there. Fine. So here we don't need the pass now. We can remove this line. Okay, fine. And control alt L to reformat. I am just reformatting again. So this way you can move the block of code. Let's say for the commands also you can see. Just place the cursor here, control W. It will select the entire block. Now if I want to move somewhere else, you can move. Okay, this way you can move it, but we need to take care of these else statements and all, because even if the else statement does not have, let's say for example, I just want to move this line. What happens is when you select one more time, if I just move it, it will create the pass statement by automatically, because else cannot have a empty statements or no statements, right? So for that, when you move this line, it automatically create the pass statement for that, so that you can move this return statement anywhere else. And coming to the next shortcut, so theme changing control plus tilt symbol. So it will be very down to your escape key in your keyboard. So what happens is sometimes people will prefer to work on the dark mode, but when they give some presentation or some screen sharing option, that time people want to see with the, let's say, white background, right? So for that, you just press control and tilt symbol. Here you can see the different operations. Here you don't need to use the keyboard, just press enter and click on, let's say, Dracula, enter, enter, it will automatically changes again. Again, if you want to change, control tilt symbol, enter, and now you want the classic light, you are in the correct option. Otherwise, you just use the up and down arrow key and go to that and press enter one more time, and you will come to the whichever the theme you want to have. Then after that, column wise selecting shift alt and mouse drag. So till now, whatever the shortcuts we have seen, we have used only the shortcuts from the keyboard. But sometimes you may be how to select a column wise data. For example, let's say I have something code statement, something like this. Now I want to change only the test. So I want to change the test, but I want to update at once. So one option is you can do the control and let's say control find and let's say or control replace, right? So find and replace will be helpful, but sometimes you want to edit directly there itself. So rather than going there and just replacing one by one, because what happens is when you use the control and replace, it may be replacing in other places as well, right? You may not be knowing where and all it's there, and you need to monitor clearly inside the control and replace. If you don't want to replace, that time you will be mentioning the exclude button, correct? So that is one option. But another option is if you know only this particular area I'm going want to change. So if you select something like this, it will select everything. So if you type something, it will change in all the places. Even the content 123 will be changed. So for that, if you are already using some Notepad++, you may be knowing these shortcuts. But in case of PyCharm ID, just place the cursor there and press Alt Shift, and now drag the content. You will be selecting only those column level content. So Alt Shift and drag the mouse pointer. So this way you can select the particular things. For example, let's say I'm doing the same thing again. Control Shift, right? So now if you want to type something, let's say new test, it will replace in all the places. So this way you can replace the content in column level also when you select and replace, or when you select and type it something. So this is another way of doing the replace, but this time you are sure that you are just updating only in the particular lines. You don't need to navigate to all the things, and you don't need to exclude some of the places when you don't want to do that. So this is using the mouse, right? And after that, so far we have done the different shortcuts, we have completed our code. So you want to run that code, right? So that is very frequent usage that you will be doing, running your code or debugging your code. So for that, it is very frequently used to shortcut. So Alt Shift and F10. Sorry, it's my bad. Actually, it should be Control Shift F10. So when you press the Control Shift and F10, it will run the program directly, and you can see the output. So we call the Fibonacci series with 9 numbers. So the Fibonacci series of 9 number is, the sum is 21. So you are getting the result. Let's say if I want to debug, you can debug directly with the same shortcut. So Control Shift and let's say F10. It will run it again. So if you want to debug, so let's say if I don't know the shortcuts, you can go to here and let's type debug. Here you can use the debug shift F9 or alt shift F9. So instead of just placing the another shortcut control shift F10, you can just type alt shift F9, or you can just enter from here itself. It will directly debug and give the result. So for example, if I want to go it again, so alt F5. So now I coming out and press alt and F5. Sorry, it is doing some other shortcut. Let's say control shift A and debug. So alt shift F9, right? So alt shift and F9. Here you can see the debug options. So if you want to run again, you don't need to go anywhere else. So just if you press the shift key, it will change to run. If you remove the shift, it will go to the debug mode. So just enter as it is and it will run it again. So this way you can do the things. So for example, now control shift F10. Okay, it is running. So this way you can use the keyboard shortcuts to run or debug. And then after surround with some, let's say some if else, or let's say try catch block. So most of the time we will be writing all the syntaxes, right? So I don't want to do that one. I want to do with, let's say, shortcuts. So let's say the line number 41, it has the print statement. I just want to add the try and catch block. So for that, you can use the same shortcut, Control Shift A, and let's try with surround. So surround is Control Alt T. So this is the same shortcut mentioned here. So let's say I want to do the same thing. So Control Alt and T. So in case of Unix environment, Control Alt T will be opening the terminal. So it may be depends on your OS. For example, since I'm using the Linux, the system level shortcut takes the priority. So if I press Control Alt T, it will be directly opening the terminal for me. So for that time, just you can use the same shortcut here. So surround with something. So here you don't need to create the shortcut, because now shortcut has been overridden by the system level command, right? So just click enter, it will show what are the things you want to replace. I can just surround with if class, or let's say try except, try finally, or if while. So whatever the condition I want to do, I can do it. For my case, I will just mention try except. It will automatically create the try and except block, and the statement will be inside the try. And the except block, it's your place that you can write what are the code you want to do in case of exceptions. So this way you can just directly use the shortcut rather than typing everything. The same way for, let's say I want to do, let's say surround with, let's enter, and let's say this time I want to do the while loop. If I press that one, so the while, and it will come with the default true condition. Now you need to make the condition here, and you need to just increment or decrement based on your condition, or based on your while condition. You can make the changes inside the while loop. So this is one way you can just make the code surrounded with while loop, or for loop, or let's say different things like if else, try catch, try finally. Those things we can do. Sorry, try catch is in Java, try except, and try finally. And then after, optimize imports. So what is optimize imports? Sometimes by mistakenly we will be using some import statements, and we are never going to use the statements. For example, let's say import JSON. So this statement clearly in the syntax level itself, you can send it is like a disabled mode, or let's say very light color, which means that you never use this inside your code, but still you are importing this one. So since you are saving by yourself, it will not do anything. But if you just use the optimize the import statements, Control Alt O, it will remove the things. It will remove the imports which you have never used. For example, now I am just using the same shortcut here. So Control Alt O, so it will automatically remove. But what happens? Let's say I want to keep this because I am using somewhere else. For example, let's say. So somewhere I have used this one. So in this case, let's say Control Alt L to reformat. And now if I optimize Control Alt O, so it will not remove the import JSON, and you can clearly see this import statement is in bright color. That means that it is being used in somewhere else. But whenever I just remove this line, it will become a very light color. And if I use now optimize the codes or optimize the imports, it will remove that one. So that you will have only the necessary required imports in your code when you do the optimize imports at the end of your code completion. So these are the different shortcuts you will be using every day, and you can go to any time to the, let's say, Project Explorer by pressing the Alt 1. Again, just pressing it will go off. And if you want to see the navigation bar, Alt Home, you can see the navigation bar, and you can see the different folder levels. You can navigate clearly. And if you want to run something very frequently used, so Ctrl+Shift F10, here it will run and it will show the things because it is in the while loop. I just press Control. See, it will interrupt this one. So why? Because this is in while loop. So I need to remove this while loop. So rather than selecting everything, so I will same shortcut Control W. So this will, okay. Now I will just Control W. It will take the entire block. So I will use the normal shortcut. Delete. Now Control Alt L reformat the code. It will reformat by directly. I don't need to remove anything by manual work. Okay, fine. So after completing this one, so you may be wondering, so I have so many options. Let's say the file options and the project explorer. So every time, or let's say if you remove something, you may not be knowing how to recollect again, right? So let it be you have every option. Let's say the debug bar, or let's say the file menu, main menu, project explorer, everything. Even we have missed some control hierarchy also. For example, let's say Control Alt H, I hope. So this is the hierarchy you can see here. The shortcut is Control Alt H. So in case if you have the different class names here, so you can just see what is the class and what is the parent class and subclasses that you can see by pressing the Control Alt H. Even if you don't know, just go to the actions and type hierarchy. So here you can see hierarchy. Let's see this. So these are the hierarchy you have in your current module. Okay, fine. So now we have seen most of the things, and just I was about to tell, if you don't want to remove anything in your PyCharm by default, you want to say everything, let it be. But the thing is, let's say I want to, now I will show the everything again. So let's say main, okay. And this one toolbar, just type toolbar. And what else we can have this one as well. Okay, for simplicity, I will show only those things. Now we have the different operations here, but you don't want to remove anything by yourself, but still you want to do the action same way like what we have done so far. So what you can do is like you can go to the view and you can go to the appearance and you can mention the enter Zen mode. So Zen mode, it will go directly out of all the things. You can directly focus only on the code. So it will be very useful when you are working on the very huge program and you don't want to just navigate between the different modules. You can directly go into the Zen mode and you can complete your code and you can execute by using the same shortcut like ctrl+shift+F10, and you can see the result, and shift escape will stop that and it will come to the again Zen mode. So this way you can complete the things. But again, if you don't, again, let's say if you want to go back, just go to the top and it will be like another menu. You can just click on this arrow again, it will come down, but still you have not seeing anything, right? So just click on the view and just go to the appearance and mention exit distraction free mode. Now you will be coming to the original view. So this way, even you don't need to remove anything, you can just go to the view and you can just click on the appearance and then enter Zen mode. And however, let's say sometimes this is a very different scenario that I faced long back. Let's say my mouse got some problem, so I could not work with mouse. So at that time, what you can do is like, even you can click on this, right? So you can use the hotkeys. So hotkeys in the sense, whenever you see some operations, so let's say some menu, which has the underscore under that particular letter, you just press the Alt key, and whatever the letter is highlighted in that, you need to press that key. For example, let's say I want to go to refactor. So I will press the Alt and you can see the refactor has all the letters, but under the R you have the underscore. Just press R, this will be selected. Now you can use the keyboard up and down arrow, or you can use the shortcuts, whatever they mentioned here. Again, if you want to use, let's say the exact the hotkeys, let's say for example, I want to copy file. So or let's say I can use the shortcut F5, or if I want to just go inside the extract, I can use up and down, or you can use again the hotkey. In this extract, the highlighted hotkey is X. So I press Alt X, it will open that one. So again, remaining things which does not have the hotkey, it will have the shortcut from your keyboard itself. So that's the reason they have not mentioned any hotkeys. Wherever you don't have the shortcuts, there will be the hotkeys. For example, extract does not have any shortcut from the keyboard. That's why they highlighted X. Whereas in variable, you have the shortcut only from the keyboard, Ctrl Alt V. That's the reason they have not highlighted anything, or they don't have any hotkeys. So this way also, without mouse also, you can work with your IDEs. So totally we have sent very few operations or the shortcuts. There are a lot of things. Even if you want to explore more, you can do one time manually and you can see the same operation here in the actions, and you have the different things here, symbols. You can go to the classes and check it, and you want to check in the files, you can check in the classes. So all the things you can check it here, but maximum times you'll be using the actions and symbols. Let's say I want to close all the things, so just type it and you can have the control F for shortcut, and active editor, close all, and close project. So a lot of things you can use it. The same thing for the VCS as well. Version control system, you can do the different actions here. So this way, whatever the actions you want to do, you can go with the actions or you can use the different shortcuts. So at finally, you can have only the code in your screen and you can work with your code clearly. And whenever you want, you can just navigate to the different, let's say, views or the project explorer or the run and debug. You can do it. For example, even if you want to go to the run and debug operations. So let's say ctrl+shift+A, again, I will go with run and let's say shift F10. It is running directly, right? So I want to go to the configuration. So just go to the configurations. Here you can see for the same module, you can have the run, you can have the debug. At the same time, you can have the edit options also, and you can even open with the terminal. So these are different operations you can do. So for example, I am going to edit demo shortcuts. You will directly go to the file. And here you can just do the different operations. Or just make, sometimes you want to do some things with always with the operations only or the options only. That time you can just make this one and you can just click on edit configurations. You can go it directly here. You want to add some PyTest or unit test, you can add it from here. But however, every day or every time you will not be going to the run configuration, so that it will be very easy. So those time only you can do it. Let's say I want to do something with PyTest. Let's see whether it is coming or not. So PyTest is coming here. So you want to do PyTest and you want to change something, you can do it. So these are different things you can do with your actions again. So in future, if they add some more operations also, you can do it with this. So this is all about all the shortcuts, or let's say what are the shortcuts we have discussed so far. Even if you want to remove this, let's say the run results, shift escape, it will remove, again it will come to the original mode. So these are the shortcuts, the same shortcuts I will place in the comment section as well and descriptions. So thanks for watching and have a great day.